Welcome back to Days of Ruin. Next up is mission number 13. Isn't that foreboding? Unlucky 13, which means something interesting is probably going to happen. This mission is going to introduce us to the rest of the Navy units, and as you can tell by the title in Days of Ruin, Greenfield's involved. He's actually going to be in the fight, which is more than he normally does. You can see that in Days of Ruin, his words are a lot more mean in that version of the game. Rogue elements, he says. Wow, it starts right away? Wow, there's no intro cutscene or anything? It just starts? Wow, okay. I hope I didn't accidentally press start or anything. But okay then. They're foregoing the usual long cutscene. I guess it's because they anticipate the battle is going to take a while. Alrighty then, Lynn knows what's up. So in this battle, you can see that it is another Navy battle. Greyfield's got 2 gunboats and APC, or rigs, sorry. It's kind of hard to knock that particular part of previous Advance Wars games out of my vocabulary. But he's got a rig, so he's gonna probably build... It would be funny if he built a temporary airport just to be annoying. But he'll probably build a temporary port. I think we can actually use that to repair our units, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, this might take a little while. At least he'll get rid of this one cruiser and we can start working on building up our own navy. So we've got a new unit. It is the aircraft carrier, and it's a little bit different from its dual strike incarnation. Let's see what the characters have to say. So yes, the carrier can now, for the first time in Advance Wars, it actually builds a new unit type. So let's talk about its combat first. It's very weak defensively. A sub will knock this thing down in one hit, but instead of ranged missiles, it's got a direct combat flak cannon, which is way less useful, but it can produce seaplanes. So do we have the money for one? Yes, we do. Let's go ahead and get one. You have to stand still in order to do this, I think. So produce. And now we've got a seaplane. We'll see what it's called in Dark Conflict on the next turn when I actually launch the thing. So naturally, we have to get some more bases and some more money, so we're going to send out gunboats to do that. And we don't start with a lander, so I guess I'll have to build one later. And as for our other units, obviously have the sub dive. The battleship can start by destroying... Well, I think I want to take out the gunboat first. Just be careful where you move, because like if you move along the shore right here, the medium tank can hit you. Not that it would do much damage. Okay, good. A one-shot gets the battleship up to level 1. And as for this rig, I don't want to waste its materials quite yet. Oh, we do have a lander. Silly me, I must be blind. So I assume Greyfield's going to build a temporary port on the shoal there, so I'm going to pick a different spot for my own temporary port. Probably a little further in. Not there, but a little bit further in. 6,000. I can't really build anything with that. So let's move on to Greenfield's turn. You've got 3 units, dude. Okay, so he is building a temporary port, and that's a decent enough location for one. And we have a new CO in command of the Lazurian army this time. Alright, so now it's time to see what's up with the carrier and its cargo, or its newly produced cargo. Actually, you know what? I think I'll hold off on launching the planes a little bit. But a really cool thing about the carrier in this game is that for the first time, you can actually move the units immediately after they've unloaded. Like, after you unload the seaplane, it can complete a full turn. Just like in Game Boy Wars 3, but the carrier cannot move before this happens, which is a little unfortunate, I would say. Also, every carrier that you get can only produce 4 seaplanes. This is a really weird thing. Like, even after the fact that the seaplanes cost, what is it, 15,000 gold, you're still limited in how many of them you're actually able to build. So I'll go ahead and build the second one. See, now my materials are down to 2. I really don't know why that's a thing. Like, it seems like an unnecessary limitation. And these 2 landers, I have to, move them with the touchscreen because they got desynced. So still not a whole lot of action quite yet. I'm going to capture this port. We'll build all of our sea units from there. And gotta watch this battleship's range, because battleship range is now much, much bigger since they can move and fire in the same turn. So the submarine will go forward, not too far forward, because you still gotta be wary of the cruiser. And our own cruiser will sit tight and await further commands. We'll go ahead and pick up I can afford 1 more infantry, so that's good. And before I forget... Oh, I definitely wouldn't want to forget that battleship. What should I do with it? Probably get rid of the anti-air units because we have air units in this mission, despite not having an airport. Oh, of course, I don't need to say it, but aircraft carriers, they give fuel and ammo and repairs to your air units. Of course, I don't know why I felt the need to point that out. It was probably really obvious. Alright, so let's see what the tactics for this mission are. Oh, hey, Isabella, you're in this mission too. Ah, Lynn's teaching Isabella about makeup. You found it in the rubble? You probably shouldn't try it on, because who knows where it's been. Axle grease makes a fine skincare product. Lynn is probably, like, pulling her leg, I think. Hey, this line was translated 100% exactly the same. Cool. Okay. Secure the islands. That was pretty obvious. Bizarre orders. You know, if someone goes into the war room at the start of the mission, they're going to get spoiled on what the gimmick of the level is. Oh, that's interesting. I forgot to talk about this, but the enemy cannot actually enter owned ports unless they are neutral or their own ports. So that's something interesting you can actually do. Okay, an actually funny line from Dark Conflict this time. Yeah, Will is shockingly lacking anime hair. It needs to be... blue would be weird because we're in the Red Army, so... maybe some kind of purple. I don't know. Anyway, so as I was saying, you can in fact use the temporary ports to block enemy sea units. Because, like if you build one on the shoals, then they actually can't enter that shoal. I mean, sea units can't enter shoals normally, but landers could. Or actually, landers could also... I don't know. I'll experiment it with later, and in the next Navy mission, I'll actually tell you what's up with all of that. So no more units can be moved. What is Greenfield up to? He's finishing the temporary port. So he's going to give more ammo to his gunboats. I see there's an artillery in range of the battleship. I could totally get rid of it if I wanted to. That's suspicious. I wonder what he could be trying to do. Well, since he mentioned seaplanes, I think I'm going to keep him in the carrier. I'm sorry, I have to delay actually launching them and showing them off just a little bit more. So, how much damage would I do to the... Okay. I'm going to pull back a little bit and get rid of the artillery. Or at least damage it. And with the port captured, we can deploy units from there. And I'll build a temporary port here. And our gunboat is away. I could send it up here, honestly. Like, there's not a lot blocking me from just dropping there and capping them. It'll take a while for the battleship to get all of the units out of the way, but I suppose the seaplanes can handle that on the next turn, maybe. As for these guys, they've left their battleship wide open. And the enemy cruiser is no threat to us at the moment. So away you go. I'll use the touchscreen for the cruiser. No deviation so far, but you never know what could happen. Alright, that's done. I think I'll just get an infantry for the other gunboat and then save up some money. I still need some more seaplane money. I should really be going through this a little bit quicker, to be honest. Yes, of course it does. Yeah, it kind of probably is Will's fault. Okay. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, I think the deviation was in Greyfield's orders. Okay, so the gimmick is that every couple of turns, Greyfield is going to pick out one of your unit types and then just stop them from moving. That's the gimmick of this mission. So in Days of Ruin, it was seaplanes, but in Dark Conflict, it was the gunboats. So the gunboats aren't going to be able to move. Alright, so I guess that's a sign. I've shown you what happens in this mission. I guess that's a sign that I have to switch to just Days of Ruin. I'm showing Dark Conflict at the moment. Let me fix that. There we go. Sometimes OBS does that. Right, so does that mean I cannot launch the seaplanes on this turn because Greyfield decided to be that way? Okay, then. So, I guess we just focus on destroying more of the enemy units. Oh, the enemy has actually built a seaplane as well. Alright, so I guess I'll show what it is here. The seaplane, it attacks all other unit types. It is like the Striker from Super Famicom Wars, if you are familiar with that. Or you could say it's a stealth fighter without the stealth. If it had the stealth, that would be very annoying. Since you can only use it in Navy missions because you have to deploy it from a carrier, so it's kind of a unit. I mean, it's there, it's useful, but it does cost quite a lot, so like it's hard to say if it's particularly useful in normal gameplay. But oh well, it is what it is. We'll get pre-deployed carriers, so we will be using seaplanes very often. I'm going to sink the rest of the ships. Down with the gunboat. And I will finish off the battleship. Cruisers are going to be important for dealing with seaplanes, because your cruisers, of course, have that anti-air capability. So I guess we can move the carrier into a better position this turn, at least. Also, I can't show it in Dark Conflict, because I'm only showing Days of Ruin at the moment, but in Dark Conflict, they are called ship planes instead of seaplanes, which is a very weird name. Ship plane, because it comes from a ship, I guess. I don't know. Let's get our gunboats in position, and the lander will find something to do, I'm sure. Alright, so as for our units, I think I need a backup cruiser, just in case. Alright, so that's that. I could get an infantry down here just to capture a little bit faster. Okay. Oh, there's this text as well. Yeah, I would have shown what they say in Dark Conflict, but the game was already deviating, so I'm not sure what to do. Alright, I guess I'll just throw in, like, a brief clip of what they say later. Ah, he's called Track in Dark Conflict. That's a little bit interesting. On. So, getting back to the mission... Yeah, this is what the damage of the carrier looks like when it's actually in direct combat. It's not very good at all. I would have preferred the missiles from Dual Strike, but what can you do? Cruisers do a lot to it, though. That was a very good decision building that there. And we can sink the use the submarine to sink the carrier. It just goes down in one shot to the sub. It's not defensive at all. Not exactly something I particularly like about the unit, but what can you do? Alright, now we're actually allowed to launch the seaplanes. The carrier must not have moved in order for this to be possible, which you can see that it can complete one move, and I'm just going to check and make sure that missile is not in range. Alright, I can take out one missile while avoiding the attacks of the other. So that's very good. And not quite ready to just go in there with the other units, so let's finish off the artillery. The seaplanes are basically going to mess up all of these units, and then I will start dropping the... where can this... Yeah, I want to at least get rid of the medium tank before dropping the infantry. So not much more I can do here. I guess I'll build a bike. I don't know why I'm building a bike. Oh yeah, Greenfield doesn't have money to repair his units either, and no infantry to capture or anything. Oh, and there's this text too. Why does there have to be so much text in the middle of the mission? Deal with it, like... Oh my goodness. Should I just play through Dark Conflict up to this point? No, I think I'll play through Dark Conflict, separately. I'll just have to show all this separately. So this man is called Gage. That's going to lead to puns. And he just follows orders. Wow. That is a line straight out of Metal Gear. Like, Gray Fox says that exact line, except he says, "We're not tools of the government." this is probably not too different, but still. You know, I find it interesting. It seems that it was the Lazurians that restarted the war, but would they? I mean, like, it would make more sense if Greenfield decided to start it back up again, but, you know, that's just speculation from me. You know, I'm really starting to think Days of Ruin took that line straight out of Metal Gear. I mean, I would have done that. Okay, moving on. So yeah, that basically establishes Gage's character. The enemy has an anti-air, but this is not looking so good. The battleship is very low on ammo, and I can't reach... I'd like to get into the port because the battleship has... How many shots does it have? It has 1 shot left, so I would really like to... What does the seaplane do? Okay, that's a decent amount of damage. Where can it move? Alright, so if I drop here, then the anti-air can't get to me quite yet. So I will go like this. And, I don't want to lure it over. So, none of my units can really get hit right now, so go ahead and produce again. And that'll be it, because I don't have any more money. Yeah, to be honest, this entire, like, left half of the map, I don't really know what it's there for. Because you don't really do anything with it. Like, there's this one little island. You don't have to go through all of this because of the shoal right here. It just lets you, like, go and capture this HQ. If I were to do a serious, like, deep dive into level design of Advance Wars, that would be something that I would point out. It's very easy to just go up this shoal and capture the HQ here, because all the enemies, they're spooked. They don't want to do anything because of all the seaplanes. He's gonna make the seaplanes do nothing, right? Cruisers? Okay. I actually don't know how this is... I don't know how the game determines what units to freeze, but... It's weird, I guess. Alright, so... As you can see by this submarine, I can't go into the enemy's port, and that would be a very silly attack to make. I can't go into the enemy's port, but I could go into my port, or... I don't think... No, submarines can't go into neutral ports either. So if that also applies to temporary ports, then that's an actual tactic you can use. Use the temporary ports to make life much, much harder for the enemy units. Let's see here. Oh, the enemy actually dropped a tank onto this little island, so I think my money is going to go towards getting rid of them. And since I don't really anticipate this other gunboat doing anything, because as soon as the infantry starts capturing, it's over, I'm going to go on Greyfield's port to see if that refuels my gunboat, just to confirm. Like, I think Days of Ruin, honestly, is my least played Advance Wars. Because it has less single-player content and I was never than the other games, and I was never really a big multiplayer person. And more of this. Don't worry, Brenner, he picked a useless unit. We weren't using the cruiser for anything anyways. Okay, so it does get refueled. That's good. So Greyfield was kind of useful, but you would have just captured this port anyways, so I don't... Oh, and another thing about seaplanes, they run out of fuel very, very quickly. Because I think they burn fuel at the same rate as the Stealth from Dual Strike. Oh, it could be that they only start with 40 fuel at the beginning. So that's something, too. Oh, it ran away. It got in the lander and ran away. Well, that's unfortunate because you've just met the gunboat. The AI does play very differently from normal. So it's a good thing the cruiser is in that position, because now this cruiser can't get to my submarine. And I guess that's that. Assuming nothing happens on the next turn, I can just HQ cap them. Alright, so they're about to get HQ capped. I'm going to switch over to Dark Conflict, and I'm going to record the rest of the dialogue and play that back. Like, I'll cut out the gameplay parts. Alright guys, I'm back, and you might have noticed that the mission seems to have played out a little differently. Well, that's because after I finished recording Mission 13 and started on Mission 14, I realized that I had forgotten to switch back to showing both screens at once, so I had to replay the mission over again. It did not take long, that's totally alright, but now I would like to officially conclude Mission 13, and we will get to Mission 14. So the Lazurians retreat, and I have hopefully gotten S ranks again. It's not like that was the hardest S rank or anything, but these scores are lower than what I had in the first run. So that's unfortunate, but this is my train wreck. I will crash it however I want to. So I have to remember what I said the first time about this cutscene. Ah yes, I remember. So, one of my observations is that in this scene in particular, the guard there, his fear of Greyfield comes out much more obviously in Days of Ruin, and Greyfield's anger is very much more prominent. So that's something you can say about the Days of Ruin translation for this scene in particular. And this civilian in particular, they decide to give him, I guess, a character gimmick and idiosyncrasy, I guess you could say. Also, they have a lot more dialogue boxes in Dark Conflict, which just means more clicking, but same amount of text, really. So it seems this person remembers seeing Isabella at some point. Two sisters and a brother. Well, we have confirmed that Isabella apparently had a family. I wonder if we'll see them again. Oh, I know the plot and you don't. But then again, if you're watching this, you probably knew the plot. Well, who wouldn't be afraid of people with this hair and those eyes? Like this white, bluish hair, gold eyes. So weird. Of course, people in the Fire Emblem games, people are apparently okay with blue hair, like green hair, all kinds of weird hair colors. But then again, hair dye is getting more common in today's world, so maybe it's not that weird after all. And as we all know, rumors in video games usually turn out to have some kind of truth to them. Yes, I think a much more simple "Who am I?" was better for Dark Conflict. Anyways, now we can officially start on Mission 14. Not a nice mission for newcomers. They tend to have trouble with S-ranking it their first time down. So let's see if I can do any better, because I've played this before. And the mission is the same title in both games, so that's interesting. A very good mission title. So the enemy fortress in this mission, by the way, they just jump straight to the map again. There's no in-between cutscene. And also the fortress that we're taking down in this mission, it has an actual name in Dark Conflict. Which is interesting. Though, to be honest, would a fortress still keep its name, like, after this whole Meteor thing? Because the Meteors probably did a number on it, and it's probably not much of a fortress anymore. Alright, I've kind of lost the synchronization here. Active surveillance. So yes, Greenfield is using us as shock troops. We're like one big living missile blowing up a wall to weaken it just a little bit. So that when he arrives with his main force, it'll be much easier for him to take down the enemy after they've been softened up a little bit. Okay, so there's a couple of things we get introduced to in this mission. First up are the Meteors. They are destructible objects. This game doesn't have mini cannons or black cannons or anything. Instead, it's just meteor fragments that you can destroy to remove obstacles. You don't even need to destroy this one, really, because your infantry just could go around the mountains to the airport, which is what I'm going to do. But Meteors interact with another bit of new terrain. The other new terrain is plasma. Now, plasma makes even less sense than chunks of meteor, I guess. Like, who puts plasma here? Like, in some maps, plasma can just be floating there. I don't know. But anyways, it's the new pipe, basically. No units can cross this thing. But what's interesting about it is you can see that the plasma is kind of connected to the meteors. If you destroy the meteor, then all connected plasma will be erased, which is a very interesting way of doing it. I don't remember if any of the maps in this game actually use plasma in interesting ways, but I would wager at least one of them did, so maybe that'll come up. Anyways, let's look at the tactics for this mission. I've seen all of this already, so I know that Forsyth, the enemy commander, is going to give his own enemies advice on how to defeat him. Anyways, Forsyth is called Carter in Dark Conflict, and that's really all I can say about the guy. He just does not get that much airtime in this game, to be completely honest, and I don't want to spoil why that is right now, but still. Like, we haven't even gotten to, like, your COs aren't even doing anything in the missions quite yet. Like, we haven't gotten to CO powers or anything. So there's not much time for Forsyth to actually, like, show off his prowess. So I would say it's up to you whether or not you want to keep the plasma or get rid of it. I don't think the enemy ever fires at meteors. They probably think the plasma is more beneficial to them. Yes, the master tactician who gives his enemies advice. Alright, with that out of the way, like, if they see something like this, all these indirects and tanks bunched up together, they're not going to go straight for it. By the way, Calder's here. And Calder, yet again, offers the exotic weapons, which I'm actually interested in seeing. Like, it would be interesting to have to fight against them. Like, maybe if there was a hard mode to Days of Ruin, there would be, like, a possibility of Forsyth actually taking the deal and using these exotic weapons, but there's no hard mode in Days of Ruin. Also, that would probably not make much sense anyways. Like, what would he get? A war tank or something? Now, there is a hard mode ROM hack of Days of Ruin, which I am trying to play, but you know how hard modes for Advance Wars can turn out. They're very difficult to get right. Like, some people just refuse to make hard modes because of how difficult it would be. I guess you could say it's hard to make a hard mode. Right, so no dealing with Calder quite yet. There it is. Alright, so this is turn, like, 10 or something. This is the dialogue for turn 10. I'm recording it completely separately because the run I was just doing kind of went south. I've completely forgotten how to do this mission, having not done it in so long. Listening to these guys talk is, like, kind of, a bit unsettling, because they talk like they're old friends, and yet they've been, fighting each other. Okay, that's that. Now let's cut to a run where I actually succeed. Back again. So, I have no idea how I'm going to handle this in editing, but, basically I got the first couple of cutscenes recorded, and then I failed the mission, because I haven't played this mission in such a long time. So now I'm going to try to actually complete the mission and, like, skip all the cutscenes and then edit them all in later. Yeah, this really is turning into a train wreck. Anyways, this is the gameplay for Mission 14. As I've stated, it's hard on the beginners, and apparently me too. But yeah, I learned something about my failure at least, so this time it should go just a little bit more smoothly, maybe. Hopefully. I probably should have moved that rocket up much farther. Alright, so the missile is going to be with the main group this time. Because, even though there are no enemy air units, well, there's one copter, but that's really not much. There is going to be a seaplane very soon, so I actually do need my cruisers and stuff. And I need the missile to be away from the enemy battleship. And I need the synchronization to get back. That's better, thank you. So, instead of saving up for a carrier, because that was such a good idea, they're way too expensive in this game, honestly. You need to pay $28,000 and then pay $15,000 on top of that for the seaplanes. No, thank you. Let's stick with tradition. Gosh darn it. Well, let's switch to just playing Days of Ruin then. Okay. I will skip all of this, because I've seen it before. Wait, I don't recall having the rocket fire last time. Oh, that's because the artillery is not covering the tile that the tank is on, so it felt more inclined to actually attack. But there were copters and all sorts of other stuff in the way as well. You know, I also just realized that building the temporary airport that I want, it works exactly like capturing, so now that it's down to 2 health, it's going to take much, much longer to actually build the thing. So that's kind of annoying, but it has to move out of the way anyways. Look at this. See, 2 out of 20. It would take 10 turns for this thing to build the temporary airport now. So, oh, please, somebody help me. I'm so bad at this. Alright, don't go in that city, because that's going to be where the rocket will aim at. At least the artillery is closer. That's kind of important, because you need the artillery in order to take out the rocket. I could just block them with the copter. I could attack with the copter. There's no enemy anti-air yet. The only anti-air they really have is the carrier, and that's useless. As far as anti-air units go, anyways. Okay. Should I stick to the reef? Probably. Got 11,000. What should I get with that? Not much is going to be able to actually, like, catch up with the main army. Oh, they're going to blow up the cruiser. I lived on 2 health, but now the cruiser's not going to do anything. Can I get to the carrier from here? Please tell me I can get to the... No, it's going to be able to launch one of the seaplanes. Not exactly what I wanted to see. I could take a chance and get rid of the battleship, but that will probably leave the submarine open to cruiser fire. So, at least with this captured, I can build much, much closer, and I've been saving up some money, so that's good. Let's go here. That seaplane is going to show up. I actually have to be aware of where the carrier is now. You can't check the seaplane's range, oddly enough. But I think it moves 7 spaces. Yeah, it couldn't possibly move more than 8 spaces, right? So this is probably okay. And at least the rig can actually transport infantry, because this infantry is probably going to need a transporter. Although, I am going to want a T-copter later on, because that's probably the best way to go after the HQ. The enemy's got some T-copters. Oh, the battleship again. I forgot. Yeah, I suppose the battleship is going to be a bit of an annoyance. But the carrier is sunk. That's a good thing. I suppose I should... Well, the enemy now has an anti-air, so I have to watch where it can move. It's not going to move away from there very easily at all. So... I'm going to yellow it. Just get in there. Artillery can hit the rocket. And there's plenty for the rocket to hit. Because you gotta understand, no matter how many units you are at risk because of this rocket, it can only fire at one thing at a time. I want to move you there. And now it is time to drop you up here. Give me a T-copter. I've got money for bombers. I could probably go for that. Yeah, bomber. I think bombers are more... They're going to be more useful at this time. I got no idea if the AI prefers KOs, but we'll see if that's the case. B-copters probably want to come around here. Is that in range? No. Alright. This is such shoddy play. Of course, it hits the missile. But the seaplane is now in range of the anti-air, so our seaplane problems are over with. That's a good start. And this rocket is more or less out of the picture as well. It can still do a little bit of damage. Alright, some more money is always good. I can't really do a whole lot of damage there. Especially since the shoal doesn't really give much defense. There's an artillery there too, so definitely not firing at that area right now. Okay, I would like my T-copter now, and artillery are going to blow up one of the meteor fragments, so I really don't know what to build in particular. There's a lot that I could use, but what do I get? More artillery for the time being, I think. Where's my sub? Right. I should work on the battleship now. It's really the only thing I need to worry about at this point. Oh, it did enough damage. How nice. Got nice and lucky. Oh, an enemy fighter. What do you know? And an enemy anti-tank. How much money does this guy have? He must have been saving up. Well, can I get through to... I can't. I could actually blow up the meteor fragment now, but that would really open the floodgates. Oh my goodness. It's a stressful mission, I gotta say. Let's keep the... I'm gonna leave the meteor. I'm gonna leave the plasma. Okay, I am a bit worried about it, but I think getting rid of the plasma would be worse for me right now. Okay, so say goodbye to your battleship. And this fighter is especially a worry. Now, I should probably just get rid of the... Yeah, get rid of the medium tank. It's kind of important. Now we have an anti-tank to worry about. So where can this fighter go? It can go... It cannot go farther than that. That is fine. That's nice and perfect. And now the T-copter begins its journey. Now I could put out bombers daily. Brenner starts with a lot of cities in this map. Let's go with a copter. And I'll at least get that out of the anti-tank's range. Of course, for the anti-tank to fire, it has to sit there and do nothing. By the way, did I mention anti-tanks are pretty good against copters? That probably, like, makes zero sense to you, but it is what it is. Right, so doing damage to the fighter is a good start. We can move along the shoal. And, I think I should be able to, like, stop any enemies from getting to the bomber. If I go like this. Yeah, the fighter can't do anything unless one of these units gets blown up. Like, after the fighter moves. Well, before the fighter moves. Alright. Yeah, go ahead and fire at it. And the T-copter can come up here. I don't know if I'll be able to sneak over to the HQ. I I guess if I built a fighter... Yeah, I'll do it. Okay. How will this turn out? Goes for the anti-air, goes for completely the wrong artillery. The infantry has to get lucky. No, the fighter moved first anyways. Oh, but the infantry got lucky. That was actually a very poor move. Moving the fighter first. Yeah, he's way focused on fighters now. So if he's focused on fighters... Go forward a little bit. Drop here. Let's see how he responds to that. It's so annoying that your only base is right here. And the enemy's is like right here. It's been forever since I played this. And yes, I do see the mech capturing me. I'm not blind. Ay. Okay. Start taking away from him. The anti-tank is gone. This fighter is gone. And this anti-tank should... Oh, it's gone. Perfect. The enemy is not, kind of not playing nice. Alright, now that this rig is, fully repaired, I will now build the, temporary airport. I'm gonna need some ground forces, I think. So... medium tank. This is probably very poor play compared to, like, the TAS or whatever. Oh, the fighter came over this way. That's interesting. And I recorded this cutscene off-screen, so we will see that later. Actually, I'm going to splice it in, so you'll probably see it right about now. So my fighter can come around here. Start working on the artillery. Let's hope that the artillery decides to just sit there and block off all the other units, but the B-copter is probably going to do something too. Well, we'll see what he does. He could go for the transporter, or he could go for the B-copter. And I think it's bomber time. By the way, this mech is annoying me. I guess I'll have to fend it off. Oh, he's actually going to repair the battleship at the port he captured. Okay. Will this do anything? No. Thought it would. Fighter's gone. And you need ammo. I actually care about ammo count, what do you know? Not a good move by his mech. Okay, so what do I do with the mech that I'm transporting? Let's take it, here. That should get the enemy to do something silly. Oh, looks like it did. Not exactly the result I was expecting. But it's a good result. You see, I've completely ignored the Navy section ever since getting rid of the enemy's carrier. That seems to be the sound move to make. Of course, you guys are probably realizing that I have to complete this again in Dark Conflict. Have I mentioned yet that this is a train wreck of a playthrough? Kind of is. Alright, now I think it's time to get rid of the... Oh, good thing I had damaged it a few turns prior. So that's actually good. Now we can actually do some real damage. Well, there's no more anti-air units that can threaten the bomber, so I think this is GG. And as soon as I say that, he builds fighters. Well, it'll be alright, I think. You go away, and... just like that, and just like that. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much in the clear. Oh, there's an anti-air back there. I'll use that to destroy the infantry. From this position, please. Man, that battleship is a resilient one. Recon versus anti-air. I wouldn't have expected that move. Alright. Bomber goes... Where does the bomber go? Right, he's gonna definitely want to destroy that bike now, but he won't be able to. I'm not betting on being able to actually capture the HQ with that bike, but you never know. I don't know if the anti-air is... It could destroy the B-copter, sure, but it's not going to be able to... It's like he won't be able to damage the bike any further than it already has been, is what I'm thinking. There, the battleship is gone, thank goodness. You know, I don't think I've ever actually let the enemy take that port before. And those guys are going to definitely be vulnerable to... Okay, maybe I will complete the capture with the bike. Oh, you're trying to block me, huh? Goodbye and goodbye, because the fighter can't hit the ground units, so I've won. Well, that was an interesting way to complete the mission. Let's hope it's not a complete disaster as far as scoring goes. It probably was. But I have to complete this in Dark Conflict, so I will be right back after I've done that. Wow, okay, I'm back, and I have no idea how this happened, but the Dark Conflict playthrough ended up being way faster, and I have no idea how. Because if you look at the bottom part of the map, you can see that things got a little awkward. I did not destroy the carrier. I made a mistake and misclicked, I guess, and lost the submarine, so I had to deal with seaplanes, but somehow I got through it faster. I think it's because I decided to actually destroy the Meteor earlier, and it got rid of the plasma so I could get in quicker. I think the plasma is probably more of an advantage for the enemy than it is for you, so wish I'd commentated over that one instead, but that's the end. Mission 14 is clear, finally, and hopefully the train gets back on the rails. Well, there we go. And the rankings are S's on both. Wow. Okay. Maybe this is, well, I see what happened. I got way lower power and technique in the Dark Conflict version, but I made up for it in speed. Okay, then. Never say the war is over, because you're just inviting, trouble. So anyways, I wonder what happens to Forsyth now. Well, we know what happens. Of course, Tasha's not having any of it. My theory that it wasn't the Lizurians that started the war is probably correct if Tasha is saying that they didn't want to do this. Oh, this is interesting. Carter is saying to Zadia that she should talk to O'Brien, but Forsyth is telling Tasha that he'll talk to Brenner. Okay, then. Notable differences in number of dialogue boxes. The reason I keep pointing that out is because the less clicking you have to do, the more you're able to get across with just a couple of clicks. Kinda. Apparently Rubenel did not have the best reputation before the Meteors. Ah, so I was right. I'd forgotten about this. Yeah, so maybe their reputation wasn't good before the Meteors, but after Greenfield kind of wrecked that. Either way. Oh boy, Greyfield's here. Yeah, too late to help out because the fighting's done. Which he's probably disappointed about. I have the volume low, so I don't think I heard a gunshot noise or anything. No, Greyfield doesn't shoot him, but what did he do? Yeah, this is the weakness of storytelling through these still portraits. They can't do anything, like, they can't actually... Oh, you know what I just thought about? Speaking of still portraits, Greyfield's portrait is now, like... The portraits are obviously mirror-imaged when you have them on the left side or the right side, but for Greyfield in particular, this causes all of his medals to mysteriously jump to the other side of his uniform. Like, because they didn't account for that when they were mirroring the portrait. Yeah, now Waylon gets to shoot him. Okay, then. See, Forsyth is now dead, and we haven't even had the chance to look at his CO powers or anything. That's why it's unfortunate that it takes so long for CO powers to actually become a thing in the game. Yeah, see, right now, just like I said, the medals are now on the opposite side of the uniform. Does he, like, move all of them himself? That would be funny. Gotta have the medals facing the camera, yes! Gotta let everyone know how much Oh, hi, Waylon's here. Yeah, the same problem actually happens with Waylon's shirt. And probably that thing on Brenner's chest as well. Yeah, I'm talking about all of this while something awful just happened. Oh, a little bit of change in the dialogue here. Or did I just advance too quickly? Yeah, now he's on Greyfield's side. So much for not serving anyone anymore. So Forsyth is unlocked, and Mission 15 is now unlocked. Alright, so after all of that, now we get to the second half of the game, and now the CO powers are going to come into play. So, get hyped for that. I'll see you next time.